Our moon cycle from July 10th to July 17th is going to be our full moon in Capricorn going into our third quarter moon in Aries. Now, this third quarter moon in Aries that is coming up is going to reveal kind of a lot. We just had an eclipse in Aries earlier this year. We're closing out that lunar node axis of Aries and Libra. So this is kind of a final position with Aries energy. We also have, for the full moon in Capricorn, Saturn is in Aries. Oh my God, you guys. Talk about clarity. So there's going to be a whole bunch of clarity that comes in on this moon in Capricorn. And then when we get to the third quarter moon, extra layers of clarity. Like, I'm talking years long extra layers of clarity. And the third quarter moon, depending on how you work with the moon cycle, can do a couple different things. One of them is that it's going to give you direction when you're going into the darkness, right? Because the cycle's about to be over. Things are going to get a little bit more shadowed. So where am I headed before this new thing starts, before things get dark? It's like, if you ever are looking for something in a dark room, and if you have like a light on for a second, you're like, okay, let me get my surroundings, and then you turn the light off and you're like, okay, I can make it there without having the light on. That's the third quarter moon. Let me have the light on for the final time, and then I gotta walk in the dark. So this one's gonna be in Aries. Talk about if you've been meditating or getting like more related to your mind. Aries rules the head, so there's gonna be a lot of clarity unsaid. Okay, keep it up here. It's only for you, more than likely, which I'm all right with. I'm okay with that. You know what? You want to tell me the secrets in my head, spirit? Keep it there then. Thank you so much. Now, the other interesting part of this is that Mars, which rules over that Aries space, is going to be with the South Node in Virgo for both the full moon in Capricorn and this upcoming third quarter moon in Aries. So we have purpose on the earth, grounding. Lots of big purposes too. Lots of like easy skills when it comes to Virgo spaces, also applicable to the Aries spaces. Right now with this, mental health and physical health are super duper related. I'm not a mental health professional, but what I will say about this is that what we put into our body does a lot of different stuff, So that Virgo space about body health, again, super connected to the mind at this moment. And because the South Node is there, this is kind of a side tangent, but we're going to put it in the video. Because the South Node is there, it's helping us kind of clear things out. It could be old habits, it could be old patterns, it could be old belief systems. The mind is involved with this as well. So it could be old belief systems. Maybe for a long time you haven't felt like you're a beautiful person, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? Screw that. I don't care about society's standards. I am really beautiful. Whatever it might be. Clear it out, let it be easy, okay? The other side to this that I think is going to be really interesting is that for the full moon, Saturn will be direct, okay? By the time that the third quarter moon in Aries comes through, we're going to have Saturn retrograde. Oh boy, guys, here we go. Saturn retrogrades, they do several different things. Now, for people who are a Saturn retrograde like myself, during Saturn retrogrades, you get to move on. You get to be done with whatever you are doing. Finally, things make sense. And I've noticed also, I don't know how this works for Saturn directs, but in my experience as a Saturn retrograde, when I get closer to that Saturn turnaround, when it's about to retrograde, things are a little bit more intense. And then they're more intense on the other side of when it retrogrades for like a little bit, and then it kind of evens out and smooths out. I think that's just the gravity of Saturn, to be honest. For people who have a Saturn direct in your chart, you're going to find this is a time of reconsideration. What have I been doing? Has it been working? How has it been working? How has it not been working? How can I rethink these structures and these systems in my life, especially where Capricorn is in your chart and where Saturn is too. That's also true. How can I rethink this stuff? How can I get reacquainted with it? Is there anything that I need to rebuild? Do I need to do a little bit of demolition? Do I need to do a little bit of destruction? Like, has the blueprint gone to plan? If not, how do I get back on course? And then for people, again, who have Saturn retrograde in your chart, if you have been reconsidering and restructuring that blueprint of whatever it is that you're building, this will be when Saturn retrogrades, permits are approved, and you get to move on. Start building again, right? Okay. So that third quarter moon in Aries, depending on, again, if you have Saturn retrograde or Saturn direct, kind of check that out. There's going to be some direct clarity on like a big term, long-term picture. Having just got out of this Aries and Libra axis of the South Node and the North Node. Well, Aries was the North Node. Let me be more specific, okay? We're about to get some clarity on purpose. What are you really meant to be doing here, and how are you supposed to be doing it? That's what the third quarter moon is going to do. The full moon, not ironically, is going to set that up. Full moons with the clearing. Okay, here's the clearing, clear it out. Here's what you really need to hear about. This is the clarity. Here's the full moon, right? The third quarter moon for this time is actually going to be, I don't want to call it more impactful than the full moon, but there is going to be more gravity than a normal third quarter moon, or one that is not involved in the previous lunar node axis. So And then with the way that the transits are and like the crossovers of the fact that Saturn is in Aries and we just had the North Node in Aries and now we're having a third quarter moon, right? All the layers that we just went over. All of it is kind of is chunky, but you know what? Sometimes chunky soup is necessary, right? Give me a little chunk in there. Anyways, moving on. I'm talking about the soups with like potatoes and stuff and, you know, like the chowders and then I said we're moving on. Let's move on. So expect some really big clarity. I don't know whatever that Aries North Node brought to you. I know starting, it was April of 2024. Okay, April 8th of 2024. That was our first new moon solar eclipse in Aries for that axis, so we started something there. This previous March, we had kind of the closing out of a chapter. Okay, let's be done with this so that you can actually work in this purpose now. So this third quarter moon is going to be like, okay, well, what did you kind of choose to do? What direction have you gone in since then? And how are we going to make sure we keep building for the next 8-ish years until we have a south node in Aries and that purpose that we've been working on comes down to the earth and down to the ground. So if you're someone who works with eclipse cycles, this third quarter moon, the 17th of July, listen in. And then from the 10th, the full moon, to the 17th, definitely listen in, because the whole entire week is going to have a lot of like, whoa, didn't know that, now I know it. So gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up your brew, keep doing what you do, I will too, and I'll talk to you soon. That's also true.